Hello, sports betting friends. Today we have a slate of just 8 games on the menu in Major League Baseball for Monday, June 30th. But I've got a prediction about half of those games. So, in other words, I'm going to share 4 picks with you. We were red hot last week. After posting a disappointing 0-4 record on Monday, we were red hot for the rest of the week. In fact, we followed up by posting a 13-2 record from Tuesday to Friday. Let me present to you the picks from the last video I made, which were Friday. We got a 4-0 record. You can see what those picks were on your screen as we took the Orioles. I believe this is the game where they trailed 6-0 early on, but they ended up crushing Tampa Bay by a wacky score. We also took the Mariners, who won in extra innings. We took the Astros and the Brewers, and all of those teams won on Friday. So a person risking $100 per play earned a profit of $347. And that's after racking up a lot of profit in the prior days. Now, hopefully, we get off to a better start this week. So let's get started with my first selection for Monday, June 30th. So first, I'm going to make a pick on the St. Louis versus Pittsburgh game. And in this match, I am opting for the Cardinals to win outright. The current odds are around minus 115. I have seen bookies with a line of minus 110. Others have minus 120. So this is the typical odds right now. And this play is rated just 2 stars out of 5. I don't have a huge confidence about this match, and let me explain why. Now, in this case, both clubs are trying to protect the 3-game winning streak, as St. Louis swept the Guardians in Cleveland, whereas the Pirates destroyed the Mets, who are really fading right now. They outscored the Mets 30-4 in those 3 games. Can you believe that? Who saw that coming? I mean, the Pirates destroyed the Mets in all 3 games. Now, given Pittsburgh's offensive outburst, the Cards easily qualify under a betting system called the Hot Bats. Let me review the rules with you. So it recommends betting against the home club if they either won their past 2 games by scoring 6+ runs in each of those victories, or if they won 4 consecutive games by scoring at least 5 runs in each of those wins. So in this case, the Pirates, let me show you their recent games. So they are at home today, and they won their past 2 games by scoring 12 and 9 runs. So that easily exceeds the 6-run threshold that I just told you about. So by following the rules, we must fade the Pirates, and that explains my first pick, the Cardinals. In case you are wondering, this betting strategy has posted a 36-38 record this season, but since we mostly bet underdogs, and given the odds from each bet, we have posted a gain of 3.88 units so far this season. All right, so now both starters are coming off a poor outing. For St. Louis, we have Erick Fedde, who was shelled by the Cubs. He gave up 8 hits, 7 runs in 3 2/3 innings. Meanwhile, the Pirates are sending Andrew Heaney to the mound, who also got tagged for 7 runs. In his case, it occurred in Milwaukee. But the difference occurs in the prior starts by both starters. Fedde was doing well up to that poor outing. If you look at his previous 4 starts, he gave up a grand total of 6 earned runs in 21 2/3 innings. So if you do the calculations, that amounts to an ERA which sits at 2.49, which is great. And meanwhile, Andrew Heaney is really struggling recently. He owns an 0-4 record across his past 6 starts, including a dreadful 6.46 ERA. So he is really in a bad funk. Now, he has made 3 career starts against St. Louis, and things did not go very well. In those games, he posted an 0-2 record, coupled with a dreadful 11.57 ERA. What? And meanwhile, Erick Fedde has been superb in his career against the Pirates. He owns a 2.05 ERA in 4 career outings against Pittsburgh. So for all of these reasons, I am betting the Cardinals in this match. All right, up next, I have a pick on the Ace-Rays game, and I'm going to go with the Rays money line. The odds are quite low, so this is not super exciting, but I feel like we still have a bit of value. I'm grading it 3 stars out of 5, which means I believe this bet holds an ROI around +3 to +4% approximately. Well, Tampa has been very hot in June via a great 17-9 record. Now they are sending Drew Rasmussen to the mound, who has emerged as an all-star lock, and he is the team's top pitcher for sure. Now, Rasmussen also enjoys facing the Athletics. He has yielded just 3 hits in 13 innings of work, along with a stellar 0.69 ERA and a perfect 2-0 record in his career against the Athletics. Now he will be squaring off against Jacob Lopez, who has been lights out in his last 4 outings. He has given up just 1 earned run across 23 innings, which is fantastic. But I don't think it's going to go well for him tonight against a red-hot club like the Tampa Bay Rays. So I am going to side with the Rays to win this game. This is, again, a 3-star play. All right, now I have 2 more picks to come, including one that I like quite a bit. First, we're going to take a very short break. I want to update you on a feel-good story. My son was playing a baseball tournament this weekend, and from a team's perspective, things did not go very well. Well, they won their first game 11-0, but then they lost their second game by a 3-1 score. In this match, the offense really sucked, so they got eliminated quite quickly. But in the first game, my oldest son was the starting pitcher. And in tournaments, they are allowed to make a maximum of 75 pitches. So whereas in the regular season, they can only pitch 2 to 3 innings depending on the month that you are in. So and his previous best was 8 strikeouts in a game, which occurred last year. And in yesterday's game, he recorded 11 strikeouts. So he pitched 4 2/3 innings, so that means that he recorded 14 outs, and 11 of them were punch outs. It was his best game ever. He threw a lot of strikes, which was very impressive. And then, since we held a good lead, I took this opportunity to send his younger brother Jay to the mound. He is a replacement player because he comes from a lower caliber, but I wanted to save my best pitchers for later games. So I gave Jay a shot. I also did that last year, and he did not record a strikeout, even though he pitched something like 3 innings in an 8-2 victory. But this time, he finally got his first strikeout of his career. In fact, he got 3 strikeouts out of 4 outs. So this was fantastic. I still cannot believe that my sons recorded 14 strikeouts together. So let me show you some footage of that game, and then we'll come back with the final 2 picks of the day.
On est prêt, Louis Alexandre, on est prêt!
Yes!
All right, we are back, and my third pick of the day goes to the Baltimore Orioles at minus 110 odds in Texas. All right, let me share with you the arguments supporting this play. Well, personally, every time I back a team that is starting Patrick Corbin on the mound, I feel like throwing up. Now, today I am going to bet against him, so that makes me feel a lot better. Now, Corbin got off to a surprising start to his 2025 campaign after being one of the worst pitchers in MLB for several years. In fact, his ERA has been 5.20 or worse in 4 straight seasons. So this year, in his first 6 outings, he posted a surprisingly good 3.13 ERA, but now he is going back to what he used to be. In his last 8 appearances, his ERA has been 5.04. That's more of the Patrick Corbin that we all know. Now, in 10 lifetime appearances against the Orioles, he owns an abysmal 1-6 record, along with an awful 5.57 ERA, and I don't think it's going to get better today. Now, meanwhile, Trevor Rogers will enter this game with a ton of confidence because he just tossed 8 scoreless innings against the Rangers, including just 3 hits. Now, he's a bit of a mystery, and we have a small sample size in his 2025 season, but I still trust him more than Patrick Corbin, who, in my opinion, is almost guaranteed to have a poor outing. He's really bad. He's been in bad form recently. And also, I feel like, Baltimore is coming off a 5-1 win over the Red Hot Rays, so that should carry some momentum entering Monday's contest. So for these reasons, I like Baltimore as a 4-star play. So among the 4 picks that I'm going to share with you, this is the one that I like the most. But it did not quite make it among my list of premium picks for today. All right, up next, we have a pick that qualifies under a great betting system called the Big Upset number 2 that owns a great 9-2 record in 2025. So we've had just 11 qualifying plays in 2025 by following its rules, and it's done very well with a 9-2 record. Its rules are as follows. Fade any team that lost its previous game to a team whose money line was greater than plus 150. So in other words, we're going to fade the victim of a big upset. The team in question must be facing a different opponent, and they must be underdogs today. All right, so let's verify that it fits for a specific team today. Let's focus on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, in their last game, yesterday the D-backs lost 6-4 to the Marlins, even though the money line on Miami was plus 155. So that means that Arizona was the victim of a big upset. Now they are obviously facing a different opponent. So instead of facing Miami, they are now facing San Francisco. And Arizona is an underdog today. So by following the rules of the big upset system, we must bet against Arizona, and that's why my final selection is the San Francisco Giants to win outright in Arizona. Obviously, we have a great pitching duel between Logan Webb and Ryne Nelson. Now, I have often mentioned on this channel how Logan Webb is not nearly as good on the road as he's been at home. But I'm still going to back him up in this spot, and let me share some arguments with you. In 5 June starts, Logan Webb owns a 2-0 record along with a superb 1.85 ERA. And he's also been great against Arizona in his career. In 12 career starts, his record is 6-3, along with a 2.31 ERA, which is very good. Now, I'm also tipping my hat off to Ryne Nelson, who is enjoying a breakout season. His whip stat went from 1.42 in 2023 to 1.25 last year and 1.05 this season. And he's also been great in June, except for a 7-run outing at Cincinnati on June 7th. Also, the D-backs have an inferior bullpen, and both teams have been struggling lately, and in which case I prefer to side with the road club because they have less pressure on their shoulders compared to the home team, who is generally expected to do well because they are playing in front of their home fans, who could be booing them if they get off to a bad start. So for all these reasons, I prefer to go with the Giants money line in this spot. So in summary, we're taking the Cards, the Rays, the Orioles, and the Giants to win straight up today. And we need to update you on the performance of the famous LOBSTER BETS, which is the best daily wager across all sports. Now, we have not been as hot lately. Let me show you the performance on my Excel spreadsheet. So recently, we've been alternating between wins and losses. So you need to focus on this column right here. So you get a 0 when we lose and a 1 when we are a winner. Yesterday, we took Cal Raleigh from Seattle to score at least a run, and he did not record a run, even though the Mariners scored 6. The previous day, we took under 4 in the first 5 innings of the Mariners-Rangers game, which was a winner. So as you can see, we've been having a 500 record lately. But of course, we've been doing great since I started this new service. We've accumulated 50 wins versus 18 losses. And since today is the last day of June, it is time to sign up for the July daily lobster bets. So I have set up a special package for you. So follow the link below in the comments to sign up to receive the daily lobster bet in your mailbox. Again, we have a 50 and 18 record. I really feel like we're about to go on a winning streak. We've had a winning streak of 11 games at one point. We also had another one of like 8 to 9, if I remember correctly. So sign up now to crush your bookies. All right, I'll see you again tomorrow with more MLB picks. I thank you very much for watching, and I wish you a great day, my friend. Go crush your bookies, man.